This is Lara Henares making your day with the second part of Maria Angela C. Mina's article entitled Thoughts on the Vice Presidential Debate. And we continue to quote, "Throughout the debate, Cayetano was constantly on the attack. I'm no expert, but it seemed to me that Cayetano had a particular strategy in mind, and that was to make himself look like a hero by making Bongbong Marcos look like a villain. He was constantly bringing up the Marcos issues with corruption. I'm not sure if that's how it's played all the way to the end of the debate, but I have to say Cayetano picked an obvious target, which is not to say that he necessarily picked an easy target. Bongbong Marcos gave some smart answers to some hard questions. He was asked if he admitted to human rights violations during his father's administration, and if he would apologize for them. Marcos replied that he believed that all administrations with human rights violations should admit to them, and as far as apologizing for his father's actions, it was not his place to apologize for anyone's actions other than his own. He also pointed out that in all his years in government, he had no record of human rights violations. It made me think that Ferdinand Marcos' son does have some brains. It also made me even less inclined to vote for him, since I shudder to think that what he might do with those brains. We've already saw what his father did with all his brilliance, and I don't think we need to experience that again." More about this after these messages. This is Lara Henares making your day with the second part of Maria Angela C. Mina's article entitled Thoughts on the Vice Presidential Debate. And I continue to quote, "Among the other candidates, the ones who stood out to me were Chis Escudero and Leni Robredo. The first because it turned out more or less the way I expected, and the second because I didn't know what to expect from her. On the internet, I've seen this year's Philippine elections compared to the Game of Thrones, with each candidate being compared to a particular character. Since the Game of Thrones is essentially a story of political backstabbing and power grabbing with dragons thrown in, there are plenty of analogies that can be drawn with our political scene. Chis Escudero's analog is Peter Baelish, a master of political manipulation who has been working hard to be the power behind the throne. I'll try to be fair to Escudero, and maybe I'm completely misreading him. Maybe he really does have our country's best interests at heart, but frankly, he does not come off that way. From what I watch, he spent a lot of time fending off issues such as corruption and political dynasties. Leni Robredo came as a rather pleasant surprise. She did have something to say, and she stood all her ground. Not that she needed to defend himself too much, considering that the others didn't have much to sling at her. She challenged both Marcos and Escudero, and it's a good sign they couldn't turn the tables on her by calling her out on skeletons in her closet. Unfortunately, he's saddled with Mar Rojas as a running mate. I doubt that he'd win, even if she might, but frankly, I'm not inclined to use my vote to give this administration a foothold in the next one. As far as I know, she's also pro-RH bill, and that really is a deal breaker as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure whom I'm gonna vote for vice president. I'll finish watching the debate when I haven't just come from watching a happy family movie, and I think about it. I have to say, though, that the field seems to be better than the one for the presidency. I have said before, and I'm tempted to vote for Miriam Santiago because the worst she can do is to succumb to cancer and put the vice president into power. If I can decide a vice presidential candidate who I think will do our country some good, or at least won't cause my conscience to keep me up at night, then I think this is one instance where giving in to temptation would be a sound plan, and that is to vote for Miriam. This is Lara Henares making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with me. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.